Welcome everyone, and welcome Kevin and Stacy. So I was thinking about you too because you guys have gone through such a wonderful transformation, and I wanted to bring you guys on just to kind of share that journey with others and help them to understand that it's possible. But I'd love to just start with, how did you hear about Healthy Habits, and what prompted you to start this yourselves, this journey?
Well, we ran into a friend, actually one of your relatives, and he had such a huge transformation, a noticeable transformation, like he had lost half of himself. And so we asked him, what are you doing? And he said, I'm doing the Jeremy and the Healthy Habits. And so we asked him about it, and he's, what was the great thing about it is he's in his mid 70s. And so for a lot of people that think that like they're beyond, or it's too late, or which is what a lot of people in their 50s start to think, that, oh, well, we're just beyond that. It was really positive for us, and we thought, well, let's just look into it. And so we did. And we didn't believe you that it was going to be possible.
Yep.
Well, I remember first hearing about it, Jeremy, from you a number of years ago, when you first started back in probably the early mid 2000s, and you're like, hey, look at this. And back in that day, I was, kind of with the mindset like, I don't need a trainer. I know how to work out. I know how to do all these things.
Yeah.
And you've developed obviously into this great program and had a lot of different things. And, we saw it. And what really was happening for us was, as we got older, the things that we used to do were no longer working, period. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just crazy that the things that you could do that would initiate and start the things to happen just was not happening. And so we're like, well, at this point, we'll try anything, because otherwise I'm going to need to go in for surgery of some sort.
Yeah.
But most importantly, we didn't want a diet. We didn't like a gimmick thing. We've tried so many of those things, and we just wanted a lifestyle change. We work with a lot of seniors, 65 and older, and to see their health depreciating so much as they age, and what of that, could be prevented. We just wanted to make sure that we're taking action steps right now, positively, to impact our life. Not a diet, not this is a lifestyle change, and it's been incredible.
Yeah, that is so great. That's so great. So let's go here, because I think you guys are just highlighting something that's so important. Is right when we got to reconnect, and then you saw my uncle, and you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. We just came out of the pandemic. We have all this stuff going on. You're confronted with your jobs that are an awesome thing that you guys do, and you oversee a ton of different people, and you're impacting so many different people. So you're constantly seeing all this stuff, but yet you're probably were in a rut. And so kind of like describe in that moment, what was it like to be in that place where you didn't feel happy, and kind of describe where you were and then how you feel today, if that's possible.
Well, for me,
there we go. Hey, we're back. All right. So cool. We're back. And so I just posed the question to you guys of what was it like before, and kind of give that kind of story of like right before you started with me, and then now that you are, Kevin 40 pounds down, Stacy over 30 pounds down, and how are you guys feeling now compared to then, all that good stuff.
Okay, well, I'll just kind of recap because I just gave you a really great thing, and apparently it wasn't recording. But anyway, the most important thing is I remember like being in tears on the phone with you. You didn't see me, but I couldn't fit into my pants anymore, and I was so upset. That was the look way of me, but what was the most important thing was I had no energy. I was just so sluggish and run down. I just felt so heavy, like mentally, emotionally, and physically. Yeah. And I'm tall, and so I can carry my weight. Most people would never think that I'm overweight until they saw those like side by side pictures, when it's like, oh my gosh. but that was really emotionally draining for me. It was really upsetting, and
well, I just simply said that I can't camouflage it, and I wasn't, and it was it was definitely, I was still wearing the pants that I wore, and they were tight, of course, but I really gained a lot in my midsection. It seems like from my, because I think my measurements across the midsection, I lost like, I don't know, 10 or 13 inches or something like that. It's ridiculous.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So that was, where I needed the most help and saw that. But, and I was really fit at one point in time. So I've had a lot of muscle memory, which has been helpful for me, I think, with kind of getting some of the other parts of my body back into, shape.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing, though, that we've realized is dedication and consistency and planning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the most important thing with this for us.
That's good.
And
we're 8 months in and we haven't missed a week.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, even when we travel, we plan accordingly to where we make sure we get at least those 3 workouts in.
Yep.
During that course of time. So if we leave on a Wednesday, we're back on a Monday. We'll do a routine where we do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, back to back, and then do our trip. We get home on, say, Monday. We're supposed to hit Monday. Then we do a Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday to catch up. So we're making sure that we're getting all those workouts in. And we just finished today our 8th month with it.
Yeah. Because if you don't do the work, I mean, I wanted to argue and be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. This isn't going to work. I don't want to eat this. I don't want to do these pictures. But holy cow, it works.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's my favorite part in the journey, is just to have that kind of internal dialogue with the client to kind of say, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and it's, what I love about that is like working with like close to 1,000 people now, like you hear everyone's different kinds of stories, and they're all different, but they're all unique. And that's, you highlighted the right things, right? It's the determination, it's the consistency, it's the planning ahead. That's everything. And that's what you guys showed up with. Like, you showed up every single day to do it really well. And that's the thing I really love about you guys, is you didn't just give it half of your effort. You gave it all your effort, and you showed up every day, every week. And what I really love about the two of you is you guys do have a very high profile position of work, and you carry a lot of responsibility, and you're leading a lot of people, and you're doing a lot of good. And not only are you doing that with work, but you're also doing that with your volunteer work and so much more. So you don't have a light load. Like, so if there's anybody that can have an excuse, I think it would be you guys. But you don't allow that to even be a part of your story. You put priority, what is priority? And that is, I need to have this health in my life, and I need this to be a part of me now. And I need to get there. So what are the tools that will get me there? And you chose it. So tell me, I always love this question, but when was the moment you realized, oh, this is working?
I'd say probably, and we gave it, you were very strict in the very beginning, and we committed to each other, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this his way. And honestly, I was doing it to prove you wrong. Yeah. And you were doing it to prove you right. So, which was great. But I'd say probably right after that Drive the Dream, which was in May. So March, April, probably after the 3rd month was like, okay, we committed to this. We survived without drinking wine the whole time. That was a big one for us. Yeah. And it removed a lot of the toxins out of our bodies and opened up for a lot of mental clarity. Yeah. That was huge. But I'd say for me, it was probably after that 3rd month when I was starting to really, really see a change. And I was not necessarily seeing a huge change with my weight, but in the shape of my body. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Your big change came in the month 3 to month 6. That's when like the weight really started to shift on you. That first 3 months, like the body was fighting the weight loss, but the body was transforming. right? So we were just attacking the fat mass a little bit more. And then like you had such a good foundation of muscle on the body that's when things started to really click for you, which is awesome. And then how about for you, Kevin?
Well, I think that for me, it was a little bit sooner than that.
Always is for men.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I also have the type of body where it'll hoard, like it kind of like hoards. I make a big change and then it takes a while, but then once it starts to go, it really starts to go.
Yeah.
And I think I realized it probably after about the second month. I'm like, all right, this is working. Now I can feel it. I can tell what's happening. We were doing a lot of things that honestly I procrastinated with and I never did, even in my workouts previous. I was one of those guys that would skip leg day always. And I just worked on the guns for the show, right? So that was all I cared about.
Yeah.
And the core strength and the strength that you really need. And I was concerned because I had a knee problem and bone on bone and all that type of stuff. So, I was concerned about that as being
but it's not even an issue anymore.
But it hasn't even been an issue. And it's just,
it's
been the recovery of that.
That's so great.
Yeah. Kevin's got to keep clipping the phone. But one of the other really great things is just that, the exercises that you relentlessly make us do that are not fun, but what's amazing about them is I always feel like, how is this helping? But then, like the farmer carries, I can feel it in my core. And it's all the different exercises that you do. And I was showing somebody a picture of myself the other day, and your big thing is always on shoulders and legs and back. And she was like, oh my gosh, look at your shoulders. And I was like, yeah, that's right. I work those babies.
Yeah. It's so fascinating how program design, it's important to affect the core. So farmer carries are such a powerful tool to challenge the core to give it that strength that we need to carry. And I think what I love about both of your stories too is these workouts are tough, and I always love, like, when we first start working out, it sucks. It feels bad. Like, it doesn't feel comfortable. But then we start to see the benefit of it, and we start to feel the benefit of it, and we start to realize this uncomfortability is transforming me. And how often is that also connected to our lives? The uncomforts that we need to touch are there, that if we touch them and go after them, we will become transformed. And that's what I love about this correlation that's happening. Like, you stepped into this in such a season where it's easy to avoid it. It's easy to say, I'm stressed out. I don't want to deal with this. But you said no. And what I love, I was really thinking about this for both of you, is I just love God's timing, because God's timing, things just happen at the right moment. And I think sometimes we can be in a moment where, like, what if we didn't connect that day? What if you didn't get to see my uncle that day? Where would you be? And I think it's such a good thing when these conversations are happening. Not only do I hope this ignites someone to say yes, like, let me choose me now, but also to not deny, like, we have to just get up and go. We just have to choose us. And how we do that is sometimes we do need a coach to walk alongside us, to have that love-hate relationship with, where you hate me most of the time, but you'll love me later. But that's necessary. And that's what you guys really show well. And I think that's what I love about also your guys' story is, like, it could have probably felt like you were in a pattern, and it felt probably like you couldn't get out of it. And then after a little bit, you realize all I had to do was pay attention to this, and now it's releasing more life into you. So that's so cool. So I guess another question that I have for you is, what is it like now to have all this energy and have this weight off? What is it feeling like for you?
For me, I feel like I'm 20 years younger. You did mention earlier, our plate is extremely full, and we're very blessed with that. And I 100% know that if I were not in this position that I'm in right now, where I didn't make sure that my health and well-being was a priority, I would not be able to function at the capacity I'm able to function at right now. There's just no way. Yeah. And so for that, I'm so beyond grateful. And you don't realize how much it is just sucking the life, how much life sucks the life out of you. Yeah. And when you're not paying attention to you and making you a priority, then you can't help anybody else. Yeah. And we're in the service industry in everything that we do. So if I'm not serving myself and serving myself to the best of my ability, I'm unable to serve anybody else and to the best of my ability. And that's really, so many people will think, well, I don't have time for that. Or I don't, just basically I don't have time for it. I can't tell you how many times people say I don't have time to work out. Well, you do. Go to bed an hour earlier and wake up an hour earlier. And there you have it. And so it became just an obsessive priority. And I'm grateful that Kevin did it with me. I don't know. I mean, it would be hard if I would have done it on my own. But I know if I would have done it, Kevin would have jumped in because he would have saw how great my results were. And he would have been like, okay, I'll do this too. So, but
you guys did it together.
Well, I know that we needed to do it anyways, because I was getting worried and nervous, because we do see a lot of people and we see what happens with their quality of life as they age and the limiting things that they have the ability to do. And I personally experienced it where, last year over COVID, we bought a boat and we wanted to go, and I was trying to do the things that I did before, like with the wake surfing and wakeboarding. And it was tough. Like, it was hard on me. This year, it was like, wow. I mean, it's almost like you're a kid again, in those type of shoes doing that. And you talk about timing is everything, right? If Stacy and I would have met on a different week, on a different day, it would have never worked. We've known you for like 20 years. Yeah. And why hadn't we ever done it before, right? So you're right. It's all about the timing of everything, and we know how that works. And you're right. I mean, there's times where you need that push, you need that coach, you need those people that can help you. I was the type of person that would have said I never needed a coach. Right. I would never do a coach. I don't need it. I know how to do this on my own. Yeah. And
first time ever we've taken photographs of ourselves throughout the journey and measured.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think those two tools are such a good thing to get past, right? Everything is data. So I think that's why I have my clients give me so much data every moment, because then I can make a very wise decision of what is happening. What do we need to tweak? And when that's not happening, you can't determine. You're just guessing. But if you have everything recorded and you see everything, of course, you're going to see like what needs to be tweaked real quick. And you can't get away from your results either, because it's right there.
You're exactly right. And I'm a firm believer in that. I do that in our business with everybody on numbers. It's data tells the whole story. You can see it. Yep. It's just right there in front of you. Yeah. Like it or love it or hate it. Yeah. That's the way it is.
So share with us. I'd really love to hear how did you balance with your work? Like you guys were talking about work and life and bringing fitness into it even more, and you gave it more priority, but how did you balance that and keep your job effective? Or did you notice that this helped to make your job effective?
I'd say it helped with making things more effective. We just had to really get very organized and regimented and planful. And in planning, it's about the meals and the exercise regimen. So we knew we knew at the end of the day we would be too tired. So it had to happen at the first part of the day. So we had to just, like I said, we had to go to bed earlier to get up earlier. And we knew, okay, we got to get up at this time to exercise. But the most important thing was the planning of the meals. Yeah. And I mean, I plan breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. And then a week in advance, I go buy everything. And then, the night before you cut up all your vegetables. And I mean, I think our first week we were getting into the office at like 11:30, which normally we're in the office, around 9. And it was because we just couldn't get our act together with,
Yeah.
we were trying to make breakfast and then we were trying to get our lunch ready. And so it took us about a week to get into the rhythm.
Yeah.
But then, you know, and then you start just little different hacks, like, okay, well, cut up the vegetables the night before for your breakfast omelet, and
Yeah.
or make those little egg things, you know, the night before, or on a Sunday meal prep for, you know, grill out a whole bunch of chicken. It's just those kinds of things that, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that throws most people off is when you don't do that, because it's so easy to just be like, I don't have time to make lunch. I'm just going to go grab something. And then that's when the bad decisions happen. And
Yep.
Burger King sounds really good.
Yep. Yep. You highlighted something I just want to highlight back to you is there's this concept of if you don't have pressure on you of expectation, you'll never discover other resolutions to solve that. So you really pointed that out really well. And I think sometimes what happens is when people go through this journey, there's this part where if they're not saying no to things, they can never say yes to what they really need to say yes to. They'll keep saying yes to the wrong things. But yet, if you give someone an environment that they have to step into and say, I'm asking you to do something different with the purpose of transforming your life, and then you test it out and you realize it works. Well, part of that too is like, you have to try to figure out how to make this work into your lifestyle and into your job and everything else you're doing, your business that you own. All of those things, you have to try to figure that out. And that's what I love the most, because I even remember there's a moment where you brought a whole cooler with you on your trip. Yeah. And that your business trip, and you're like, hey, we're so committed. We got a cooler full of all of our food. So we're planned, we're ready, we're not giving up, we're not compromising, but we're staying true to this. And that moment, that's when I was like, these two are keepers right here. They're doing it.
And again, we needed to incorporate this as a new way of life. This was not a thing we were just doing for a moment of time, or this is, like I said earlier, this is not a diet for us. This is a full-blown committed lifestyle change that we've made from healthy habits.
Yeah, and it is. It's all about eating right, eating smart. And I think, you know, something that we're all in is this shift from like the COVID time period to now learning how to exit out of that. And yet we're not, but we're almost. But how do we kind of say, okay, I'm done with this, and now it's time to choose life again. And I can't numb anymore, but I really gotta excel and thrive, because there's so much for us to actually get to thrive in this time. But it was stressful. It was confusing at first, but now we kind of need to just do everything we can to go beyond it and inspire. And so I think now that we're talking about like inspiring aspect of this, I really want to ask the question of, and now people are wanting to do this journey for themselves, or they have an opportunity to do this journey. What would you tell them? What would be the advice, encouragement that you guys now carry of a transformed life? What would you encourage others with?
Well, I'll go first. I mean, it's commitment. You have to go. It's just like anything. If you're going to be in business for yourself, if you're going to do anything, you got to be committed to what it is that you're going to do. You got to put the goal out there and say, I'm going to hit the goal. I personally haven't hit my weight goal yet, but I don't know that really what my goal needed to be or should have been. My guess is that I'm probably down more along the lines of 50 pounds of weight, but gained probably 10 in muscle back for a net of 40 because of the transformation that I've seen with measurements. So, you know, I could carry 195 to 210 depending on what it is, and not say that 200 is the right number. I mean, I don't know. It just depends. All I know is I'm at my sizes that I want to be.
Yeah.
Perfectly, right? So that's where I really wanted to ultimately be, and I wanted to be at the size without a belly hanging over, and I'm pretty much there. So
yeah,
I'm okay with that part of it.
Yep.
You know, I'm just gonna go back to, like, I see so many people that are unhealthy because of choices and decisions they've made, and if you're willing to compromise your own the body that God gave you. I mean, God gave me this body with this mind and everything that goes into it, And God did not give me this body to mistreat it and to not fuel it with everything that's really great. And that's food and exercise and making the right choices. And if I'm willing to compromise by eating, bad foods or drinking too much or not exercising, then what am I willing to compromise on other things with? And is that living my best life? No. Is that showing up for other people as the best me? Never. And so for that reason, that is what kept me going. And that's what I would always say to encourage somebody else to not give up. Why would you sacrifice the maximum ability that you can be?
Yeah.
Because now you have the tools. We just didn't know what we were supposed to do. We didn't know that we were supposed to eat carbs near the workout and how many carbs we were supposed to eat. We were eating.
Micro side,
we were kind of eating healthy, but not really. Mm-hmm. And if you have the tools and you know what you're supposed to be doing, then why would you ever not do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, and for for Prosecco Princess here to quit Prosecco.
I gave up Prosecco altogether, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, for not just for 10 weeks, but you didn't drink it anymore at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the hack that we have that saved the day.
Hot water.
Was hot water, man. When I asked you if that was going to be okay.
Yes, I drink it every day.
That's
I've told so many clients, and I give you credit every single time. I was like, one of my clients, Kevin, he told me about this drink. Zero calories. It kind of gives
zero carbs.
Yeah,
and it's got the nootropics and adaptogens in it. And I mean,
it's been really fun though to find the food hacks, the seasoning, I mean, that's been like the most fun, I think, to find all the different ways to make things that I used to love just healthier.
Yeah. And I love that you guys are showing that. And I love how I think sometimes we settle, and you highlighted this. Sometimes we settle for a little bit less than what's really there waiting for us.
You can.
And how easy is it that we just let comfort control us? We let comfort and our value or our standards kind of step down a little bit, rather than if we just raise our standards a little bit more. What starts to happen is you experience so much more. You feel better. You feel confident. You feel beautiful. You feel strong. You feel handsome. Whatever it is, you start to feel that and you start to realize that. And then when you are put into situations where you got to make a really important, strong decision, you're carrying the tools already within you to then make it more instantly and make it more perfectly. And you guys are carrying that kind of story. So I love that. And I'm really so proud and excited for you guys of what's coming in the season for you and what's unlocking. And I love how, because you put in the work, look at all the opportunities that are going to start to flood into your lives, and you can handle it because the foods that you're eating can handle stress better. The workouts that you're doing are helping you process the stress better. The foods and the workouts that you're doing are also helping you to maintain a level of sleep that's more accurate for you guys. It's controlling that for you. And then the mind clarity and the control of your mind and the oxygen into the mind, all of these things are playing into who you are now, and it's just going to just thrive. And I think that's the best part. That's the exciting thing that you guys are doing with your life. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you guys for taking the time to share your story. Again, Kevin, you lost over 40 pounds now, 4.3% body fat, 7.5 off your waist, 8 inches off your hips. Stacy, 32 pounds, 3.7% body fat down, 9.3 off your waist, and 9.8 off your hips. That is incredible. So
I can button my pants now.
Yes, you can.
So she was safety pinning them, right?
Yeah.
I can button my pants. No, from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for this transformation.
Wait,
and
I got to share a funny story really quick though. This is funny.
Really
right?
quick.
So we go. She gets this Ferragamo belt. She's got to have this Ferragamo belt because she needs a belt.
Right when we started.
Right when we started. So, anyways,
he has to fix the phone. Hold on.
So we get the Ferragamo belt. She throws it on the other day, and it's like at the last notch, and it's just hanging out. I mean, it's like flopping way down, right?
I can't wear it anymore.
She can't wear it anymore. And I'm like, let me try it on. I put it on, and I'm wearing it right in the middle. So I got my programmable belt.
Hey, there you go. Look at
Out of the deal. I guess I got to buy a new one, huh?
Yep, she gets all the new stuff. That's okay.
Yeah, right.
I got a hand-me-down.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, from the bottom of our hearts, I mean, it's definitely been impactful in what we do on a day-to-day. And I mean, I can't imagine life without it. It's between this and God. And so we're really grateful for both you and God.
Well, it's such an honor to get to do this with you guys and walk with you and help. And what I love is my job is not to be the focus, but it's to highlight and celebrate and empower those that make you guys are the heroes. You guys are the ones walking it out, just as I'm walking it out, but you're walking it out too. And you're a testimony to so many people showing that they can do it. And all it takes is just for them to choose themselves and to start now and get them where they're going. So thank you guys so much for your time. I know it's so valuable. And so I just am so grateful that we got to have this time. And I hope that this story really empowers those people around us that get to watch this to say, I can do this too. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what's on my plate, but I need to choose myself.
100%.
Absolutely.
Make the commitment. Do it.
All right.
Well, don't ever have a cheat meal. Have an earned meal.
Yeah, it's not a cheat meal. It's an earned meal.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff. We heard it here. We heard it here from who came from. These two.
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
That's
well,
awesome.
You two have an amazing night. Have an amazing weekend. Again, thank you so much for taking the time, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you for everything, and anyone can reach out to us anytime.
Yeah,
Take
and
care.
if you want to share what you do too, because I think that's always important.
We work with primarily people 65 and older and help with their healthcare needs, lifestyle planning for all of their benefits, living the same life that they lived before they retired, after they retired.
Yeah, it's incredible. These two are changing lives every day. And
Every day.
Yep, every day.
All right. Well, you guys have a blessed day, and we'll chat soon.
Okay,
All
thanks,
right.
Jeremy.
Take
You
care,
too.
Jeremy.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.